Right. Hello. My name is Irina Nola, and I'm a hypnotherapist and past life regression therapist in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I also work online. So, this is my very first YouTube video. I've never done any lectures or anything else on YouTube. So, I want to talk today about the twin flame regression and how is it different from a classic past life regression. I have been doing past life regression for many years, about 9 years altogether. I'm trained by Brian Weiss and Dolores Cannon. And in a classic past life regression, you're usually sent into a past life. And if it is dedicated to a relationship, you would be sent into a past life with a specific person, with a specific soul. I mean, there was somebody else in the past life, but the same soul. However, in twin flame regression, it gets a little bit more convoluted because not all twin flames had past lives together. Some do and some don't. So you're not actually sent into a past life with this specific being, with this specific soul. You're made, you're asked to connect energetically and emotionally with this person. And then you're sent back in time, before you were born, before both of you were born, into an important scene when your souls were together. It could be a past life, but it can be anything else. It can be existence in higher dimensions. It can be the birth of your souls. It can be pre-birth planning for this life, whatever it is. And from there, we eventually go into the fifth dimension. We go into high dimensional reality, non-physical reality. And we're going to so-called Akashic Library. Akashic Library is the library of records of everything which ever happened on Earth, on other planets, in the universe. And the Akashic book or Akashic scroll or file, whatever it is, has all the past lives and all different types of existences you had before you were born in this life. It also has this life before today. Okay. So we're looking through the Akashic records and we're looking for different existences you had with this soul. Again, it can be past lives in physical bodies on Earth or on other planets, or it can be existences in higher dimensional reality. It can be energy worlds, can be mental worlds, when you didn't have any bodies or you were shape-shifting from one body into another. There is another thing which is also very important for twin flames, and we don't really look at it so much when we're working with soulmates. This is the birth of souls. Very rarely in past life regression, the client is taken to the birth of their soul. Well, we're not talking physical birth, of course, we're talking about separation of consciousness from the source, universal consciousness. So we all are shards of God, we all are parts of the universal consciousness, but at some point, billions of years ago, your soul, your spirit, separated from this universal consciousness. And what we're particularly looking at is how this process was done. Did your soul separate by itself, individually? Did it separate together with another soul, which is basically a twin flame, or was it born in a group? And actually, in my experience, most of the souls are born with groups. The original soul group, and this soul group can go different ways, or it can come together straight to Earth. There are all kinds of things which can happen with those soul groups. Again, in the soul group, there can be one soul which is very close to yours. And some soul groups actually have even amount of members, all divided into couples. I have seen this before in my sessions. So in this case, we're basically talking about somebody who is both your twin flame and soulmate, because you're parts of this original soul group, but at the same time, you're also a couple. You're kind of closer to each other than any other soul in this group. So there are many different possibilities here. There is another type of twin flames, which I call split souls. This is actually an individual soul which has its own soul history, many different incarnations. It's a part of a soul group. But at some point during human incarnations, the soul splits into two different individual energies. It can be done on purpose, it can be done for learning, because usually what we see in past life regression is parallel lives of the same soul. Souls have the ability to split their energy into several bodies. Well, at least more or less experienced souls can do that. And this is usually done to speed up learning, to have different experiences in different countries. Parallel lives typically do not meet. If two parallel lives have a pre-birth agreement to meet and be mates, be partners, then we're talking about twin flames. But this is a very different type, because these are not two separate souls who traveled across the universe for ages and have their own experiences, and they eventually meet up in this life, or they had some past lives together. Here we have one individual soul who typically incarnated as one being, one energy being, or as one extraterrestrial being, or one human being. So the whole experience here is a long chain of past lives as one individual energy. But something happened. Sometimes it's a trauma, sometimes it's some kind of a lesson the soul needs to learn when the soul decides to separate. It is also possible for a soul to have a severe trauma, usually in a human life, when a part of the energy has to stay back in the spiritual reality for healing, and another part goes into past lives, goes into incarnations. And eventually, when the other part, which was in healing, it has to come back and it needs to unite back with the other part. So these are also like variations of the split souls. So there are many different possibilities, many strange, very convoluted experiences. I've been working with twin flames for the last maybe couple of years, when I started having a huge influx of clients claiming to be in a twin flame relationship. I guess it became very popular in the mass culture. There are also possibly way more twin flames now than was maybe 20 years ago, because of the shifts in energy on Earth. So I started having a lot of sessions, and I tweaked this whole modality to best serve the clients who are in twin flame relationships. Not everybody who claims to be a twin flame is actually a twin flame. Very often we figure out that these are soulmates with doomed romance, so to speak. They had romantic relationships in past lives, they're parts of the same soul group, but in many lives they were not able to have a happy romantic relationship. They would have a pre-birth plan to marry and to have kids, but they can't do that for some reason, because they don't accept each other, or because they marry, but then one of them dies young. And then we have this unfinished business when in this life they come with the same plan. So this is one of the possibilities. Another possibility that the so-called twin flame can be a catalyst, presenting you with a life lesson of discernment, self-love, ability to rebound from grief or loss. And in this case, it's just a temporary agreement, with a catalyst who presents you with a lesson and disappears. And many catalyst relationships are very similar to twin flames. Again, this becomes very apparent in twin flame regression, especially when we go into Akashic Library. We usually don't find a lot of past lives together. We find one or two, and we find a pre-birth agreement to basically present you with a certain life lesson. And agreement is usually temporary, and the minute you finish with the lesson, you're free energetically from this soul. With the twin flames, it's a different story. This is a very deep connection. It never really ends. Not all twin flames have a pre-birth plan to be mates and to be a couple in this life. What I see in sessions sometimes is a pre-birth agreement to basically like springboard each other spiritual development, open psychic abilities, awaken, become aware of multidimensional reality, but there is no plan to be together. Well, in this case, usually both are married, both have soulmates, have children, and basically they can be platonic friends, or they might not even have to see each other again. So all kinds of different situations. I do these sessions online. If you're interested, you can contact me. My website is neworleanshypnosis.com. I'll put the website under. So you can also read all kinds of stuff I write online. Just Google Irina Nola and you will find a lot of stuff. All right. So if you're interested, contact me. Thank you.